Hello and welcome to my channel. This card video is going to be a Valentine's Day card 2018. This card features a Stampin' Up stamp set called Baby Bear and a cute little conversation heart. This is a really easy to do card and I'd like to show you how to do it. Stay with me while we go through all the materials and the techniques for this card. For this design, I'm using quite a few inks, and that is because the inside is a bit of a rainbow, and the bear needs 3 shades of ink to make that effect. So for Memento, I have Grape Jelly, Tangelo, Ladybug, Rosebud, Summer Sky, Bamboo Leaves, and Dandelion. Of the Stampin' Up inks, I have Chocolate Chip, Baked Brown Sugar, and Crumb Cake. Let me move this away to make a little bit of room. Okay. The stamps I'm using today is my little generic dollar stamps. I have the Classic Squares Large by Spellbinders, the dies. I have the Baby Bear stamp set by Stampin' Up. And I have the Halftone Hearts stamp set with the matching dies. I'm also going to be using some red and white baker's twine, conversation hearts. These are foam stickers, and I'll need a small bow, and that's it. So let's move this out of the way and start into the card. The first step, I'm bringing in the smaller of the 2 white panels, and I'm going to stamp the bear. I have the stamps in the order that I'm going to need them, and I also have the inks in order that I'm going to need them. When you're working with multiple stage stamps, if you organize ahead of time, it makes it a lot easier, and it keeps you from making an inadvertent mistake by stamping the layer that you meant to stamp one color in a different color. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the thickest of the stamps, which is the bottom layer. So I'm just going to transfer it to the door. And using the MISTI tool is really helpful for multiple layer stamps. You don't have to, but especially with the photopolymers, but it's really a lot easier to do. So sorry, these are brand new Stampin' Up, so they stick a little bit when I open them. So I'm going to give this a good inking up all the way around it, making sure that I get a good coverage because, as I said, it's a very solid image. And let's see how I did. Pressing it really good and hard to make sure I get an even transfer of all those little bits of his paws and his head. Okay, and I did good. Okay, clean this up real quick. Close this ink so we don't have any problems. And now move on to the next layer. I find it is easiest for this stamp to use the little holes between the arms to help you guide it, line it up. On some multi-layer stamps, there will be little guides or marks or something to help you guide it up. But if there aren't, just look at the stamp and there's usually some visual clues that help you. Okay, now the next shade, which is the medium, the baked brown sugar. It's amazing how little effort this particular stamp takes, and it gives such a realistic look once it's all done. I love this stamp. I also have a similar stamp, which is not a bear, but well, you know, I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be for my spring stamps and cards. And if you stick around, you'll see me using that stamp. But it's just as fun as this one. So I'm not going to tell you about that. Keep you guessing. Okay, and now the top layer. Again, looking through the holes and lining it up. And I hope I got it right. Let's see. And this layer will be the darkest layer, which in this case is the chocolate chip. if you had early espresso, you could use that, but I didn't have early espresso, and that brown may have looked better with the crumb cake and the baked brown sugar, but any browns will work. Okay, once this layer comes on, you will be able to see the bear come to life. And there he is. Very realistic looking teddy bear. I love this stamp. It is so cute. Okay. Now I'm going to move this out of the way and move on to the next step. The next step, I'm going to stamp the sentiment on the front. So I have the Hugs and Kisses stamp, and I want to put it on one of the strips of white. And I'm using the Misty for this, even though it's such a small stamp, because this stamp is very solid, and I want to be sure that I get a good impression on it. Okay, and here we go. And I'm going to stamp it 2 times, but I'm going to try something different on this one. I'm going to try to go over it with the red and see if I can get a deeper color than the pink originally was. Let's see how that looks. Okay, it's not quite red, but it's also not pink either. I like that. So now I have a good imprint, and I am finished with this, and I'm going to move on to the next step. Now I've brought in my big shot, and I'm going to do my die cutting. So let me flip that over. When you're using your plates, it's a good idea to alternate your plates every now and then so that they don't get overly warped. So I just flip that over. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out the baby bear with the smaller of the 2 squares. So you just line it up. It's very simple to do. And of course, if you don't have these dies, then you could just use a paper trimmer and cut it off. This is nothing to really think hard about on this one. You could have also used the stitched die cut if you had that. I didn't have those available. I had the stitched frames in square, but not the stitched squares. What did I say? I had the stitched frames, but not the stitched squares. I don't know what I said, but just to make sure I said the right thing, I'm going to repeat it. Okay, and if you've been watching my videos, you know that I'm all about paper saving. So I'm going to use the mat for the back and get out the square that I'm going to need for this guy here. So you just have to be sure that you have it in enough so that the cut lines don't show on the outside once you assemble the card. You can always get paper savings this way. Okay, and there's my square, and don't throw that away, you need it. And the final cut I'm going to make is to take the Hugs and Kisses and cut this out with this die, and then I'm going to use the rest of the white and cut some more. I'm going to get as many as I can for the die cut layering. I'm going to cut this and be right back. Okay, I finished my die cutting, and I didn't show it on camera, but this is how you needed to lay the different 2 pieces out so that you can get the maximum amount. And this is what I got. So now I'm going to use the stack die cut technique. I'm just going to glue these together with Tombow, and this will be on the top, and it's very quick and very easy, and it adds dimension to your die cut and makes it more sturdy, and it adds a nice effect. It's very easy to do. Some die cuts are a little bit harder than others, like the really intricate lettering might make it difficult, but this die cut, the letters are really chunky, so it's not hard at all. So I'm going to quickly go through and do this. And the Tombow gives you a little bit of a couple of seconds before it sets up, so you can move it around a little bit. I would not recommend you do this with tape runner, because tape, pretty much once you put it down, it's going to be set wherever you put it, and you don't have any wiggle room with that. There is a fly in my video. Oh, go away, Grundlefly. So I was going to stop this and just, you know, fast forward through it, but this is so fast. It takes almost no seconds to do this. And you just need a little bit of glue between the layers. But when you get to the topmost layer, gluing that one down, you want to really take your time so that you have a really good coverage of of glue so that it won't pop up at all. Okay, one little bit, there we are. So I guess that took what, 25-30 seconds? No time at all. And basically when you see the three-dimensional embellishments at the store that you pay a lot for, you can just do what you saw me do right here with your own die cuts and make your own 3D embellishment with nothing. It just no trouble at all. If you want to have a different look, instead of using white paper, you could use black paper, and then you could maybe offset the top and give you a little bit of a drop shadow effect. Very quick. Okay, let's move on to the next step. I forgot to mention, but I needed Versafine Onyx Black. The rest of the card is just going to be assembling everything and making the inside. So I'm just going to let the music run and put everything together. Okay, that's the finished card, and it was really easy to do, and I hope that you were able to follow along. What I did for this panel here, I took the white that I had cut this square from, and I used it to help me line up these two pattern papers so that I knew that I could get it straight. That's just a little trick that I use to help me when I'm putting together little strips of paper. If you feel that you can lay out the paper straight without using that, that's okay too. Then you can just put it directly onto the black mat. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you will try this card yourself. And again, this is the Stampin' Up Baby Bear stamp set, 3-step bear. I'd like to thank my brother for the music that he's provided for this channel. And I hope you've been enjoying the music, and I hope that you've been enjoying my Valentine's card series for 2018. Next, I'm going to be going into the new series very soon, which will be St. Patrick's Day. I have a lot of cute designs to share with you, and I hope you'll tune back in to watch them as I present them to you. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Take care.